So I walked in the door with no story to tell, but I came up with one. Usually when I think of friends with benefits, I just think about getting shit-faced and then trying to make out with anybody who's around, girl, boy, straight, gay. And usually my friends the next morning are like, Alex, I know you love buffalo wings, but last night I thought you thought I was a giant buffalo wing because you just tried to eat my face off. Like, and that's what I usually think of friends with benefits. So I'm not really going to talk about my experience with friends with benefits because that's usually how it goes usually. But I used to work in an elementary school with autistic youth. And I worked there for 3 years. And my last year, I was assigned to a child who had an extremely misunderstood diagnosis of autism called PDD-NOS. So she presented herself as mildly, like she was mentally retarded, even though she wasn't, because she had an extremely high IQ level. But she also suffered from a lot of issues with neglect at the home and a slew of other problems. So a lot of children who were her age perceived her to be mentally retarded. But she happened to be the kindest and the sweetest human being I've yet to meet in my life. And she had a lot of problems. She would kind of eat really sloppy, and like you'd be like, oh, sweetie pie, like I wish that cheeseburger had gotten into your mouth instead of all of your clothes. And like she was very sloppy, and a lot of the kids kind of perceived her like this. And she didn't understand other children's perception of her. She didn't understand how she played in the role because she was extremely naive and so sweet. And one day she kind of started asking about Valentine's Day. She was like very inquisitive. She was like, oh, Valentine's Day is soon. And you're like, honey, it is December 12th. Valentine's Day is not soon. Like, we still have a lot of holidays coming up. And there was this like weird, I was like, something's going on. And a couple of days later, and so I was her personal care assistant, which basically means like a wraparound. So you kind of go throughout the day with this child and make sure they're able to, you know, have the tools necessary to make sure that they can be like a viable part of their school community. And then one day, a couple of days later, a child comes up to me. He goes, Mr. Alex, he's like, Mr. Alex, I think there's a problem with, let's call her Emily. I think she kind of tried to kiss me at recess. I was like, what did she do? And he was just like, she kind of went up to me like, and I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, Emily's obviously taking a lesson or two from me because that sounds like me on a Tuesday. But I was like, oh no. I mean, this is. I'm like, so you think that she tried to kiss you? And he was like, yes. Now this child was the cool kid. Awesome, like everybody loved him. Like he was also happened to be a cool kid that was like the sweetest pea in the pod himself. So he had Emily's back, like, and she knew that. Like she totally was aware that he was cool, but he had the sense for third grade. He had the sensitivity enough to be her advocate, and she knew that. So I was like, oh man, this is a problem. So then one day, me and the guidance counselor kind of take her side and. We're like, so did something happen at recess today with James? And she's like, yeah. She's like, yeah, something did. And we're like, okay, like tell us about it. And I'm expecting her to be like, I tried to MO with this like person. She was just like, I was trying to whisper in his ear that I really want him to be my Valentine's Day. And this is still December, so she's a couple months away. She's pre-planning. Don't we all need to do that? And then me and the guidance counselor at the time was she was pretty stoic. And she just turns to Erin and she just gives it to her. She's like, you know what, Emily? This is the part, this made my heart die in this moment. She says to her, she goes, sometimes in life, no matter how much we love another person, they will never love us back. Oh man, and she was so sweet. She just took it and she like, okay. So a couple weeks later, like winter break's over and James was everything had stopped. But then I was soon going to be leaving my job, and she knew that, and so she one day came up to me and she was like, Mr. Alex, can I tell you that I love you? And I was like, oh, here we go again. And then I was like, and then she like She's like, not the kind of love that I had for James when I wanted him to be my Valentine's date. The kind of love that I have for a father. And so that's my story.